For this video, we are going to go over factoring by split the middle. So this includes GCFs and the factoring that we did last week, which was just factoring when A was 1. So now A is not 1. So we follow the steps. We do A times C, that adds to B. So we're doing factors of 7 times 7, which is 49. That add to B, 50. So my factors of 49 are 1 and 49 and 7 and 7. Those are my only factors. Well, the ones that will add to 50 are 1 and 49. So how I would write this one would be, I would write 7d squared. Oops. 7d squared then I split up the 50 in the middle. I split up the 50 in the middle to be plus 49d plus 1d plus 7. That's how those split. From there, I split the middle and I GCF the front and the back. So I put the two different factors there. I GCF the front. When I GCF the front, I get 7d because they both have a set. They're both divisible by 7 and both have a d. That leaves me 1d at the beginning plus 7 for that part, because 7 times 7 is 49, and d times the 7 gets you that 7d. And the second part, the only thing I can factor out is a 1, because that's their greatest common factor. It'd be 1 and then d plus 7. My final answer of these two factors would be 7d plus 1, the GCF factors, and d plus 7. So those factors come from our two areas. This d plus 7 is here, and then our 7d plus 1 comes from there. Alrighty, so there's B. Let's look at C. C is a little different because it's a negative. So I do 11 times 3 when I multiply those together. Okay, that gives me factors of 33. I get 1 and 33, and I get 11 and 3. Now, they have to both add to be negative, so that means both numbers here are going to be negative. So I'm going to get 11w squared minus 11w minus 3w plus 3. Now, it doesn't matter which order you put them in, but I'm going to put them in that order. It just makes it a little bit easier to GCF. So I split them in half, and I get my next response. If I was to GCF the front, they both are divisible by 11, and they both have a w, so I could take out 11w. Then I would have w minus 1 inside. The next part, since it's a negative 3 here above, I'm going to take out a negative, and then they're both divisible by 3, so I'm going to take out a minus 3. That leaves me w inside as a positive, because a negative 3 times a positive gets me this negative 3w. And then a negative 3 times a negative 1 would get me a positive 3. So those are my, once I split it there, the factors split the middle. My two factors at the end are 11w minus 3 and w minus 1. Okay, there's C. A little different. That's a negative one. We don't have many here that we're doing that are negative. All right. D here is another one just like that. So I do A times C, 3 times 10, factors of 30. They're going to add to B, negative 17. So I've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. To get to negative 17, I like 2 and 15 to use. So I would be doing, I would do 3x squared, there we go, 3x squared minus 2x, because they both have to be negative because it multiplies to be a positive and adds to be a negative, plus 10. Then I split them here. My next look would be I can only take out an x of this front part because 3 and 2 have no common factors in it, and that would leave me 3x minus 2. The next piece, since that negative 15, since they're both negatives, got to be a negative as well. It's going to be negative 5 is their GCF, and that leaves me x plus 2 inside. Uh-oh, 3x plus 2 on the inside. Well, it looks like I don't have matching inside, so I need to change something here. If this one's going to be a negative, then I'm going to take out a positive 5. Actually here, I think this one is not factorable, so we're going to skip D here. All right, let's skip over D. We'll talk about that in class the next day. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I did this. All right, I found my error. I'm supposed to make this a minus 2 because a negative times a negative is a positive. Now we're all good here together. All right, here I have x minus 5 and 3x minus 2. When I took out this negative, okay, I had to switch my positive sign. I forgot to do that, my B. All right, so there's my 2 factors for D. Now we go to E. I do A times C, factors of 66. Okay, factors of 66. That add to B 25. I got 1 in 66, not that one. 2 and 33, close. Let's see, 6 and 11. It's a little bit closer. Where's my factor chart here? My factor chart, I skipped one here. It should be 3 and 22. Those, when I add them together, will get me 25. So here, if I put them together, well, I would split it. I would get 6t. Ooh. My numbers are a little big here. I would get 6t squared. All right, that first term is always just kind of the same, the first and last term when we split the middle, plus 3t plus 22t plus 11. Okay, from there I split the middle. Then I would have the factor of 3t out front. That would leave me t plus 1. Second factor would be plus 11, and that would give me t plus 1. My factors there at the end would be 3t plus 11 and t plus 1. Those are my answers to E, splitting them and going through there. Okay, you're probably getting better at factoring. That's why I'm going a little bit faster here. All right, factors of 16 times 9, I'm doing A times C. 16 times 9 is 144. Our factor chart does not go up that high to 144. So I'm going to pause here to pull up a factor chart for you. All right, the one we were looking for here was 18 and 8. All right, sorry, this goes a little bit bigger than your factor chart. So we get 16m squared. I can't grab my 2. There we go. 16m squared plus 8m plus 18m plus 9. I split the middle here, and I go to factor these. I would get out 8m from the front, and that would leave me 2m plus 1 on the inside. On the back, I would get out a plus 9, and that would leave me 2m plus 1. My final answer would be 8m plus 9 and 2m plus 1. There is G. Let's look at H. Here is H. Okay, I do 13 times 8. 13 times 8 is 104. I need what factors of 104 add to be 30. I'm going to pause here to pull up a factor chart. All right, our factors here that I was looking for were 4 and 26. So I get 8y squared plus 4y plus 26y plus 13. I go and I split the middle. I factor out the front. I get 4y as my GCF. That leaves me 2y plus 1. And I would take out plus 13. And that would leave me 2y plus 1. Those are both divisible by 13. My final factors are 4y plus 13 and 2y plus 1. I know these numbers were a little bit bigger than our factor chart for the homework, but I hope this helps and works for you. Rewatch this video for help with split the middle factoring.